I guess you guys never met each other, and we're like 1,000 miles away, but somehow we have the similar idea. That's what really made me fascinating and make me feel very amazed. Like, yeah, human are very connected. Uh, our Asian countries very brilliant, very wise in terms of reimagining education. So this webinar we organize for our community member. So as you guys know, we have a community of social change makers across Vietnam and in nearby region. And every month we gather online like this for one webinar where we learn together. Month is where we have dialogue about new civilization. So we have a topic on organic farmings, reimagining educations, alternative educations, alternative economy, community buildings, social cooperative. We've been running this for more than a year. So I'm very happy. This is the 16 episode of our webinar. So this episode, we would like, the topic is around learning city. So as you guys know, in Vietnam, we also run a learning city. And in Vietnam, we even spread into 4 cities, not only 1 city, but we have 4 cities in Vietnam doing learning city. We have in Da Nang, we have in Hanoi, we have in Ho Chi Minh City, and we have in Vũng Tàu province. So I hope like one day if you guys visit Vietnam, you can visit all of our learning city initiative. Yeah, so I got to know Shibuya University a few months ago, and I know Udaipur Learning City many years ago. So it'd be great. So my idea was having this webinar for us, our spirit together, to make a learning movement in Asia, and we inspire each other. Even though we have a lot of shared ideas, similar ideas, but also our operation somehow each project is different in our own context. So it'd be great if we can learn from each other. So that's the idea of this webinar. Okay, so let me introduce. First of all, let me introduce VD Jane. Well, I think I let you introduce yourself now. VD from Udaipur, India. Can you briefly introduce about yourself first?
Namaste. My name is Vidhi, and I live in India, in a very beautiful city called Udaipur, which is in the northwest of the country. And I've been living there for 27 years, and I have a dream to make Udaipur a very creative, a very, I would say, caring, and a very natural, environmentally rich city. Culturally, we are very rich. So how can we inculcate all these and make this? And I work for a movement called Shikshantar.
All right, thank you, VD. And our second speaker from Udaipur, from Shibuya University, because for me it's a learning city in Tokyo, Shibuya Learning City. So we have even three members from Shibuya Learning City. So I'm very happy. So can you briefly introduce yourself, and after your introduction, then we go to the presentation, and after the presentation, we go to Q&A with our audience. So I don't know who's gonna speak, introduce from Shibuya. Is that Yuki-san or Yukiko?
Maybe I first.
Yes.
My name is Yukiko
Shibuya.
Sawano.
Yeah.
I am a professor of Women's University located in Shibuya. It's called the University of the Sacred Heart, Tokyo. So I am not the staff of Shibuya University, unlike Yuki or Yasuaki, but I have been in connected with the university because I live and work in Shibuya for many years. And I will present about their activity later. Thank you.
So, yeah. Hi, xin chào, namaste. I'm Yuki from Shibuya University Network. I've started working at Shibuya University in 2019, and we are very happy to share about our project with international people, and I'm very looking forward to listening the project in India as well. So yeah, nice to meet you.
Right, thank you. Is Sakyo-san gonna introduce himself or?
Hi, I'm Yasaki Sakyo, and I'm founder of Shibuya University, and I'm happy to share with experience and 20 years of Shibuya University Network. Thank you.
All right, okay, thank you. Yeah, what amazed me was that both project like stopped very long times ago. Like Shibuya started in 2006, right? And Udaipur Learning City started in 1999. So for us, Learning City in Vietnam, we for more than a year, about a year. So we yes, one. So we very looking forward to listen to your experience and your knowledge regarding running your Learning City. So first of all, so each speaker will do a presentation about the projects. So each of you will have like 20 to 30 minutes. And after that, we have the Q&As with our audience. So let me invite, let's travel to Japan first. Let's hear from Shibuya University first about what have you been doing and the project.
Okay, thank you. Before introducing Shibuya University Network, I think it will be make you easier to understand after listening, like how Japanese like social education or lifelong learning education changes. So Yukiko-san will be presenting the little bit about how Japanese lifelong learning society and education has changed. And after that, I'll introduce about Shibuya University Network.
Yes, thank you very much. So I would like to talk using PowerPoint slide, and it will be, I hope it will be as brief as 5 to 7 minutes, not to consume too much of the time, but okay. Is it visible? Is it okay with you?
Yeah, we saw it. Yeah.
Okay. So I was requested from Yuki to talk about this topic. It's called we call social education, something like the activities of Shibuya University Network. But as I think it is an important core of lifelong learning in Japan, I just very briefly talk about the concept of lifelong learning. Myself, as I told you, a university professor, but I have been working for the Ministry of Education and affiliated policy research institute for 17 or more years. And 20 years ago, I became working at this current university. And at just one in 2006 or 2007, I found out about the very interesting activities of Shibuya University, and I invited Sakyo-san to as a guest speaker for my students, and also some of our students became volunteers at their lessons and so on. My field of research is comparative education and lifelong learning policies. And I also is committed to some international organizations. And like ASEM is Lifelong Learning Hub is something to connect Asia and Europe. And I am coordinating research network of learning cities and learning regions. And I invited Sakyo-san also to be this member. And so this is what I would like to talk. And so first I talk about lifelong learning and social education in Japan. And our lifelong learning policy was introduced as early as late 1960s with the influence from the UNESCO. And it was quite broadly welcomed by the world of business and industry, and of course in the world of education. And but it took a while to actually implement the policy. But so it started in 1990s, and then however, our economy has been not very good, not very well since 1990s. And when we started implementing this lifelong learning policy, the bubble economy was destroyed, and so we didn't have so much national public budget. But then but now we are in the stage of realizing lifelong learning society, and oops, sorry. So already in 20 years ago, we had made a revision of fundamental law on education. And in this Article 3, lifelong learning was defined for the first time in our law, and started to promote to make a lifelong learning society. And then our concept of lifelong learning is quite broad. So not only the long life stage, but also this life-wide dimension of formal, non-formal, and informal learning to integrate the whole of whole learning, education and learning is our concept of lifelong learning. And then here is the to connect the school education and informal learning, like self-learning or education at home. There is a variety of social education. And what is social education? I would like to. So it is a non-formal type of learning, but non-formal, but kind of group-oriented, or it is not like informal learning, but they have some kind of plan, but not rigid plan or any restriction like formal learning. And so social education, in Japanese we call it shakai kyoiku. It was guaranteed as one of the fundamental human rights by our constitution, and after the World War II. And in 1949, social education law was defined. So many years before the lifelong learning concept was introduced in Japan. And it was defined as organized education activities of children, youths, and adults including sports and recreation, but excluding school education itself. But the aim is to promote democratization and empowerment of citizens, especially women at that stage. And the most important social education facility is called Kominkan. It's a community center, and it was designed in the late 1940s to 50s as a place to train citizens democracy. And this was a graphic introduction at that period. And I think it is important, interesting to show how democracy was illustrated in this plan. So it is a place to make friends, but also to train democracy, like making discussions in a flat relation with people, and to promote democracy, but also to promote industry in local area and culture, to promote cultural exchange, and to promote the making of community or community development. And even now, it is defined in our new fundamental law on education in Article 12 as a social education to be conducted in community and response to the needs of the individual and society. And it must be encouraged by national and local governments. So libraries, museums are also considered as important social education facilities, not only kominkan. And so this is our learning population in Japan. The green part is the formal education, the participants of formal education. But this blue part is the social education, and also this in this bracket, it shows how many people are using kominkan, museum, library, and other social education facilities. And we can say that, so most of our population, every citizens are using social education facilities more than 3 or 4, 5 times a year. And this is the current image of social education in Japan. The aim is to vitalize local community, create people and linkage and community through learning. And then I'd like to show just briefly about the learning cities in Japan. So as early as 1979, the first municipality to declare themselves to be learning city, actually lifelong learning city, was city of Kakegawa in Shizuoka Prefecture. It was initiated by this very famous mayor at that time. And so they also participated in OECD Learning Cities project in 92 and became famous worldwide. And they constructed various learning facilities, but also they considered their public facilities like water preservation, water cleaning facility, or their municipal office to be learning. So every facilities could be education and learning facility. That was the idea. And they even made the declaration. And this type of municipalities became quite popular in 1990s, and they made a kind of a network of learning municipalities. And at the peak, I think there were more than 150 municipalities which declared to be lifelong learning village or town or cities. But nowadays, this kind of top-down approach is not becoming very popular, and so the number of the municipalities are declining. And as a new type of learning cities, here's Okayama city of Okayama. It has participated the UNESCO Global Network of Learning Cities in 2016 and awarded the Global Network Learning Cities Award in 2017. And they are quite keen about community-based learning for education, for sustainable development, and using Kominkan, the community center, and linked with school education, school and university, and so on. So, and the second case is the Shibuya University. It is very unique because they consider the whole of Shibuya district to be a learning venue, and quite strong initiative by the citizens. So I would like Yuki to continue the presentation. Thank you.
You. Thank you, Kiko-san. So then I will continue introducing about Shibuya University. And before that, let me introduce myself a little bit. And my name is Yuki, and I'm the president of Shibuya University Network. And I studied abroad to the UK after graduating from my university. And then at that time, it was my first time to see the people from all generations learn together and learning and talking about a very like a light topic, like a hobby or like a love to the to democracy or social problems, and it motivates me to make this kind of opportunities in Japan. So yeah, that's why I joined Shibuya University Network. Okay, so yeah, I think before introducing Shibuya University, I think it's be easier to see. Let me show you a little bit of what we are doing in daily level. I'm not sure the sound is okay. class is about philosophy and held in communion. This class is held in the factory in Shibuya. This is about like environmental pollution or yeah. These are all volunteers who help the class. These are the participants. And we do a reflection with all staff to improve the class. Drinking beer after the yeah.
Nghe rồi.
So yeah, these are like what we do in daily level. And okay, so let me start. So Shibuya University Network is non-profit organization founded in Shibuya in 2006, and we provide open learning opportunities for where everyone can participate, and it's like a regardless of age or background or profession. And yeah, so every month we organize some classes on basically on weekend, and we have no entrance exams and graduation and tuition fees, so everyone can be a student and everyone can be a teacher and anyone can be a volunteer staff. Yes, and maybe you may know already, but Shibuya, where we work, is the heart of Tokyo, heart of Japan, and busy and fast-paced, and the center of like everything, center of business and culture. But Shibuya University offers the opposite, the slow and analog and free, relaxing space for learning. So we create like a open learning environment where people can participate freely and for free, together with lots of volunteer staff. And since 2006, we held about 1,600 classes with over 46,000 participants. And about 50% the under 40. So many younger generations participate. And this is one of the unique point of among Japanese lifelong learning system. Yes. And our teachers and venues are very diverse, and sometimes like this kind of streets or park will be our venue, and also he's a monk, Buddhism monk will be teacher, or she's a geisha musician and she's 96 years old and she will be a teacher. And the team is also very diverse. This is like emergency food, or let's make a rice. And but these are about like a philosophy and democracy and like learning social issues from board games or something like that. So it's very diverse. And as I mentioned, most of our staff are volunteers, and classes of Shibuya University Network are created by many volunteer staff. And we have a kind of a concept of like be the first student and create the class you want to take. So this class coordinator create the class that they want to join, and they invite the teacher and as a first student. So this approach leads to classes with a variety of themes. Yes, and also this is like how we create free learning opportunities, and so like our free learning model is made possible thanks to our volunteer staff and also teachers who share our visions, and also collaborations with local governments, like Shibuya local governments or Tokyo governments, and also lots of companies, corporate partners in Shibuya. Yes. And next, I'd like to share like how Shibuya University Network was founded and how it changed for 20 years. And this is actually the large number of young participants is closely connected to the reason why Shibuya University was founded. And this is one characteristic of Shibuya. This is like a population, men's population and women's population. But in Shibuya, the high number of like single person between 20s to like 40s, the highest population. So this is very unique characteristic of Shibuya city. And so like this kind of like many young single person households, but they are all, not all, but a lot of them are from outside of Tokyo, so they don't have local connections. And also, lots of like neighborhood activities or neighborhood association has a trouble of lack of young generations. And these kind of challenges, the challenge that Shibuya city always concerned about. So then the government tried to have the idea of like creating opportunities for young people to learn and connect and engage with Shibuya city. Then we started our project in 2006, and as a nonprofit organization. And the founder of Shibuya University is Sakyo-san, who is here today. And he started this project when he was 20s, and they started making learning community for young generation. So the idea of like having no school buildings and making the entire city is our campus is has not changed from that time. Yes. And then actually so these are the projects and activities that we've been doing for 20 years. But actually the compared to 2006, it's, you know, the society and also the city of Shibuya changed a lot. And then we thought we have to change the shape of our community as well. So 2020, we renewed the idea of Shibuya University, and so now we are trying to solve this kind of local problems. And let me introduce briefly. One is our first challenge is like mental fatigue. And in today's society, especially in Japanese society, people are constantly expected to achieve something, achieve results, and, you know, through exams or job huntings and career advancement. And in addition, the endless flow of information through social media can also increase our stress. So we provide opportunities to slow down and reflect without focusing on outcomes or speed. And we value stepping away from smartphones and screens and having face-to-face conversations with others. And yeah, we believe it's important to have time to encounter different perspectives and deepen our own thought or idea. And our second challenge is social isolation. In in urban areas like Shibuya, people often have fewer connections with others. In particular, like isolation among young people who move to Tokyo from outside, or like elderly people living alone has become a major issue. So we create connections through learning. So our class held in a city help participants discover their local community or some new local activities and build relationship with people around them. And yeah, we also like Shibuya University itself is like a third place, which means not home, not your office, but like your third comfortable place. Yes. And the third challenge is the lack of hope among young people. And there's a survey including Japan, South Korea, or like United States or UK, and ask two questions to like 18 years old people. Like, do you think the future of your country will get better? And do you think your actions can change society? And Japan ranked the lowest in both questions, unfortunately. So we think it's very huge problem. So this shows like many young people feel anxious about their future, while also feeling that they have little power, no power to change the society. So we try like a true learning and dialogue with others. We try to provide opportunities for people to reflect on themselves and also society and take action. And small experiences, like small successful experiences, such as gaining inspiration from someone's words, or realizing that like your own words can encourage someone else, or like help people develop their confidence. And yeah, so we believe that like individual change, even it's very small change, individual change through learning, it can lead to changes in everyday life and also society. And yeah, so this is our philosophy. And yeah, thank you very much. Come on.
Great, great. Thank you. Thank you. Wow. Yeah, so great to hear that Shibuya have been running for 20 years. And, like Shibuya, like Udaipur, our learning city as well, we all came from the grassroots, the community. So the community initiative, and it's belong to the community. So the purpose of the learning city is really reconnect the local community and bring people together. So thank you so much for your presentation from Japan. So now let's travel to India to listen to one of our dear friend, VD, who doing Udaipur as a learning city. And Udaipur, like not only like VD not only doing Udaipur alone, but she also the Udaipur learning city is connect to the ecosystem of unschoolings of alternative education community called Shishantatu. So I let VD share about your projects. And think many of them like don't know Shishanta. So if you mention about Shishanta, then you can share a bit more about your work with many. Yeah. So please welcome VD.
Thank you so much. I'm very happy to be here and to be interacting with such interesting people and such interesting projects from different parts of the world. I have shared a little the website of the experiment, the process that we work on with you guys. I will be talking about it, but I don't know how much I can share because what I'm going to be sharing is, I would say, a lot of different experiences, a lot of different projects that we have done in Udaipur as a learning city for the past nearly 25 years. So I'll just give you a little background, what Udaipur as a learning city is for me. So when I was growing up and going to college, I had no idea what I was doing in life. I was a little lost, and I used to have a lot of, a lot of reflections as to where and what I want to do when I grow up, what kind of a city I want to live in, and what would I like to do while growing up in a city. And one of the biggest questions that I had about my life was that I had gone to school and college, but I was not really doing anything for my own community, for the places that I was living in. And the biggest question that I had was that my life was very parasitic in the city. When I say parasitic, I mean that everything that I was consuming or everything that I was a part of was basically given by other people. I was just consuming from here, there, everywhere. Food was coming from somewhere. Entertainment was coming from somewhere. Medication was coming from somewhere. And everything was basically a ready-made thing for me. And I realized that as a human being, I was creating very little. I needed to be I felt that my whole life was actually living in scarcity. I was just consuming, but I had not actually realized what the abundance of my community was, of the city I was living in was. And I realized that I had something, I mean, I had been sent to this earth for a purpose, and I wanted to fulfill that purpose, which was to create a learning ecosystem for myself. So then I moved to Udaipur and got married to Manish, and we created a movement called Shikshanta for self-designed learning and for people who wanted to reclaim their own learning and education. We moved to this beautiful romantic city and decided that we don't want to make it just a schooling city. We want to make the whole city a learning city. And we said that in this learning city, we need to actually look for the wealth of talent, of skills, of gifts that people have, rather than just going to a school or a college to learn. We need to actually see what the real wealth of the community is. And we realized that actually every human being is gifted, talented, and has a lot of skills to share, but we don't get a chance to appreciate those. And another big question we had when we moved to this city called Udaipur was that we realized that a lot of the young people who went to school and college did not see a future in our city. They thought that to live a good life, to maintain their lifestyle, they have to move to a bigger city. They can't live and, you know, make a earning or make a good life in Udaipur, because they felt that development happens when you go to a bigger city. So we had a lot of questions to why people were not attracted to live in the city where we were living, rather than, you know, it's such a beautiful city. There are so many creative people, but young people always tend to run away from the city, looking for opportunities. And the other very important question was, how do we as people want to create a city, create opportunities in the city? Because we have the government, we have bureaucrats, we have organizations that are working for the city, but the citizens should also have a vision about what kind of a city they want to live in and what kind of ecosystems they want to create. So this was another thing that we really wanted to focus on, and we wanted to discuss with all the people of the city, what kind of a city do you want Udaipur to be? Do you want it to become a very big mega city like Delhi or Mumbai? Or do you want to convert it into a city like the US? Or do you really feel that every city should have its own character, its own culture, its own languages? And so this was also a very big question we had. And I can say that for me, the whole concept of Udaipur as a learning city is very grounded in the local. I feel that the local ecosystems that we have are very strong, and we didn't want to lose those. And I remember I came across a saying from a very beautiful grandmother that I met long ago, which said that it takes a village to raise a child. So today, we usually just outsource our kids to organizations to learn. But as parents and as a community, how are we raising our kids? You know, we need lots of different kinds of teachers in our lives to learn. So Udaipur as a learning city was basically my dream and Manish's dream and many other creative people's dream, to create a village around us where learning could happen, unlearning could happen, a lot of creative things could happen. And it's very interesting because both me and Manish had moved from bigger cities. Manish had grew up in the US, I had lived in Delhi and many big cities, and we really wanted our city to be a beautiful place for our child to grow up. So this was a dream that we had for our child. And my daughter grew up as an unschooler. She'd never been to school. So we also wanted to create communities where she could grow up in and learn with, rather than just going to one school. So this whole concept also came out of this vision that, you know, we talk about cities, but we don't talk about the kind of learning models we have to have in the city. So we wanted to create many different alternative spaces for learning. And we realized that actually the wealth was there. So we started this whole concept of Udaipur as a learning city through this process. It's a beautiful game called the Treasure Hunt. And we started going and finding very creative, very productive, very exciting people around us, and said that we would like to invite them into this whole concept of Udaipur as a learning city, where they could actually help us create many different informal learning spaces. And my daughter could freely go and learn in different places. If she wanted to learn about farming, she could go and meet the different farmers of the city. If she wanted to learn about art, she could go and explore all the learning art academies or the artists of the city. If she was interested in cooking, who are the amazing chefs in the city? Who are the amazing places where one could go and experiment with food? If she was always very interested in animals, so we found the places where they have animal shelters and they're looking after animals and also looking after nature. So basically the concept of Udaipur as a learning city started as creating a learning web of resources. We felt the whole city is a learning space. We need to just go and explore those places. And a lot of our work was done by inviting people into the process, as well as going and doing things in different amazing public spaces of the city. Like Udaipur is a beautiful city. We have more than 7 lakes. So how can we do an amazing learning experience on one of the lakefronts and invite the people of Udaipur to be a part of it? How can we share our gifts with other people of Udaipur by creating maybe a food festival? We feel that today we also have to question this assumption about who is educated, who is the real creator of knowledge. And we realize that the best way to learn for us has been intergenerational learning, when you learn through generations. So I believe that if you can have 3 generations learning together, it creates a very different kind of a learning experience. And so we started inviting grandmothers into this whole process, because their knowledge, their wisdom, their understanding of life was very different from the understanding that a child who just goes to school has. Plus, we realized that a lifestyle has to, there is a certain lifestyle that people are trying to always pursue. But when we are pursuing that lifestyle, we don't think about the real problems that we're creating for a city. And I realized that by interacting with our grandmothers in Udaipur as a learning city, that their concept of waste was very different from ours. They actually were already living zero waste lives. And we were only basically consuming and throwing everything. So when grandmothers started talking about zero waste living, it opened up a whole new idea of, learning about how we want to live our lives. And I remember when we were doing the treasure hunt, we met so many amazing people who work with their hands. So I think Udaipur as a learning city was one of those processes, and still remains one very positive thing where we feel that learning happens not only through the mind, but through the hands and the body also. So we started going and working with people who are creating knowledge, the farmers, the people who are selling vegetables, the people who are doing pottery, the people who are doing puppeteering. So these people became our gurus. And we also said that we can come and do something so that these cultural things don't, die, because it's only a few generations left of these people doing these things. And these are very important for a learning city to develop. If we don't really want to kill the real culture of the city, we have to start reclaiming our knowledge, our language, which is usually, totally looked out on, our cultural systems, our music, our art, our public spaces. I realized that weddings and cultural events could be made more creative. And so we invited people to think about how in the city we can create different kinds of events that would be much more zero waste and look after everyone's learning needs, rather than just being places of consumption. So Udaipur as a learning city has some support from the government. We definitely invite them into all the processes, but it's a much more individual led movement. And we feel that every person who's in Udaipur as a learning city brings in a new flavor, a new taste. And I think one thing that we realized when we were working on Udaipur as a learning city, and when I mentioned that a lot of young people were thinking that they have no future in the city. So we actually started working a lot on entrepreneurship and livelihoods, where we started supporting young people to start their own enterprises in the city rather than having to go out. So if someone was really interested in alternative architecture, how can we support them to create a space for alternative architecture? If someone was interested in organic farming, how can we give fellowships to young people to start organic farming in the city? How can we use that's really solid skill base to create beautiful experiments in the city? If there were people who were interested in farming, how can the young people actually help people set up rooftop farming? Because people don't even know what they're consuming in the cities. So how can we question this whole concept of urbanization? Our food, the food that we're consuming today is coming from miles and miles and miles away. We don't even know where our food is coming from. So can we actually start thinking of making our cities greener, and by growing our own food, by growing our own herbs? Because people have space, and we wanted that those spaces could be used to do that. We also started, Udaipur is a very tourist intensive area because we have a lot of beautiful palaces, beautiful lakes. But we realized that tourism was also creating a lot of problems in the city. So we invited a lot of young people from the Udaipur as a learning city process to create alternative tourism walks, to create spaces where they could actually earn a living out of tourism, but make it more interesting and much more sustainable. Because, tourists only are growing, but how do we change that kind of tourism? How do we make the tourism much more supportive of the local economy rather than killing the local economy? And so a lot of our work has been on the whole concept of regenerating our local culture, our local spaces, and our local economy, and also inviting people of different walks of life. So we don't really, we have a few places where we do regular activities, but our aim is to go and do things all over the place, like a learning web. Like you could go and do something at a lakefront, you could go and do something in a park, you could do something in an empty plot and invite people. A lot of conversations, a lot of interesting projects have been started in cafes, where people have started alternative cafes with healthy food. Slow food concept in Udaipur, we have been working a lot with young people on the whole concept of slow food, because we feel that today the biggest problem with youth is that they don't know what they're eating. They're eating a lot of food that is not good for them. And so how can we change that and create cafes where people are talking about food, and people are actually creating things together, food recipes. I remember you also mentioned that food is a very important thing in your project. And I feel food is actually one of the main reasons why we started Udaipur as a learning city. We said, if food can be the basis of learning, so many things can evolve in the city. So cafes have been started by young people. Organic stores have been started by young people. Young people have also started their own spaces where conversations, different kinds of conversations can happen. Because as you said today, the biggest problem with young people is that they're going through a lot of emotional stuff. So we have a lot of spaces where people can go and talk about what their burning issues are and how a group can help them solve those, rather than, we always run to the administration or to the government to solve our problems. How can we as citizens try to solve the problems or the issues or even the things that are happening in our lives? First of all, we have to create a space, and then we have to invite people to come and find some solutions to that. So I would say that Udaipur as a learning city is a very organic process. There is no one fixed model. There's no one way of doing things. But we've always tried that people of many generations try to come together to make this process a beautiful process. We work in schools. We also work in different institutions and organizations, and invite individuals who are interested to be a part of this. I can share a lot. We also have done a lot of things in the whole spirit of gift. So we realize that today the biggest fear that people have in their life is that if you're living in a city, to maintain your lifestyle, you need to basically keep earning a lot of money and you need to spend money to do everything. But we realize that a lot of what we need to do can be done in the spirit of gift. And there is this whole thing called seva, called service also. And young people are very disconnected from that. I would say our parents' generation and our grandparents' generation were constantly working in the spirit of gift. But young people are now quite disconnected from that because it's been put into their heads that their only purpose of life is to get a job and make a good living. But we feel that if the spirit of gift is alive, a lot of things can happen in the city. So how do we create spaces where a lot of unlearning can happen around money, around economy, around success, around the whole concept of development? And Udaipur has definitely created that kind of energy. I would feel that young people are now questioning their own lifestyle, their own consumeristic lifestyle, and thinking about alternative ways. And Udaipur is a learning city. I would say there are two cores. As I said, the whole concept starts with this thing about it takes a village to raise a child. And the other core thing that I think that makes Udaipur as a learning city very unique is that we believe in this proverb that it takes that true democracy is when you can choose your own teachers. So why can we not go and look for our own teachers? We're mostly given teachers by schools and colleges and universities, but the real teachers are the people who are in the community. So this treasure hunt also helps us find the real teachers that we want to learn from. If you really want to learn about pottery, who are the amazing potters who we could go and learn with? If you want to learn about architecture, what are the local kinds of architecture projects that we can go and learn from? If we want to learn about birds, how can we go and find the gurus or the teachers for learning about that? And it's a very beautiful relationship where like an apprentice, you can also go and learn. You don't have to go and learn in a formal setup where you're going to have to get a degree or you have to get a certificate to learn. You can go and share your experiences and get back some wealth of knowledge from them. So a lot of our work is based on the whole concept of apprenticeship learning also, where you go and learn from the people of the city. And I think that there's so many exciting things that are going on in the city all the time. But the whole core of the Udaipur as a learning city is that we need to keep having dialogue and discussions with different kinds of people. So in Udaipur, we run a space called Halchal Cafe in Shikshantar, where a lot of young people come every Saturday and we eat together and we talk together, we sing together and dance together and share what we really consider very meaningful in our lives. And like, for example, just today, we've had a very big movement going on in our country for the past, I don't know if you're aware, but India has been going through a very big, I would say, educational reform kind of movement. And today, I would say that a lot of young people from all over the country have been able to take a very dramatic step. So all these conversations also around the future of our city happen in Halchal Cafe. And we also invite the stakeholders to come and be a part of that, because we feel that even if we have one critical mass of people, a lot of things can change. And we cannot leave everything only to the administration or to the government. People have to start taking some control, this whole concept of Swaraj, some control and some, I would say, some kind of responsibility of their own life, their own lifestyle. So Udaipur as a learning city is a very individual-driven, community-driven project. And we've been working in many different areas. For example, when I moved to Udaipur, my interest was to learn about the artisans of the city. We are very rich in artistic things. Culture is very artistic driven. So how could I actually create a space where we could invite the different artists of the city and say, let's create beautiful city murals. Let's create different amazing projects in the city where youth could also be a part of, to make the city more beautiful. And we made many sculptures out of waste, out of the stuff that was being thrown away. And that was such a beautiful reunion of art and youth energy, and maybe people of different generations to come and create something that everyone can be a part of. So taking care of our own spaces and growing those spaces is what I think the biggest role of Udaipur as a learning city has been. A lot of young people find it very dangerous to, drive in the city because there's lots of cars. So I would say there were a few youth who decided that we wanted to make Udaipur a cycling city. So we created footpaths where people could use cycles. I don't know if in your cities it's a different thing, but in India, if you look at the traffic, we have a road where you have cows as well as cycles, as well as cars, as well as people walking. So it's not very safe anymore. So a few young people decided that they wanted to create Udaipur as a cycling city, and went to the administration and created a path where people could cycle safely, or young people could, use that space for walking, for other things also, rather than just for traffic and cars. The roads are not only for cars, the roads are for everyone. So how can we make them more individual friendly? And also looking for how we can take care of the animals. In Udaipur, we have animals on the roads, but we need to be taking care of them. So we approached the administration, and with some organizations that work with animals, we made sure that those animals were taken care of, were well fed, were also made a part of, rather than picking them up and throwing them out. How can we make animal friendly cities, rather than just saying that, okay, this is a city only for human beings? How can we incorporate nature back into our city? So a lot of very interesting projects have happened. I don't know how much time do I have, Wu? Am I talking a lot?
Yeah, like you can wrap it up now.
Yeah, because
one
I
or
would
two
like
minutes.
more
Yeah.
questions, and
Yeah.
I hope what I said made sense. It's a very different concept, and I would like to talk more if there are questions and any observations also you guys have made, because we always look for observations and reflections also. And please take a look at the website also that I've shared, and I'd love to talk more with everyone. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, thank you so much, Vidi. We learned from Udaipur Learning City that when we do our learning city in Vietnam, we also, for us, it's a process of finding the treasure. So we call it open sacred treasure. So we are, through learning city, we are able to find like hidden wisdom, hidden corners in our city, and it's been really amazing that we're able to connect with our land. So thank you both Vidi and Yuki-san for your presentation about learning city. Provide really good backgrounds for our discussion. So now I would like to move on to the conversation part and question and answers. So if any of our friends, our member, have any questions for two of our speakers, they can ask. Yeah. So I will leave the space open for questions from our members. Yuki want to, yeah. Bật mic đi, Yuki.
Can you hear me well?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you so much for the sharing. When seeing like the different examples of learning cities, like but in other places, so it makes me very excited to hear from everyone's story. So I have two questions. The first question for both from Japan and for India. The first question is, how does the concept being carried by the community like over the years? The reason why I asking this is sometimes that usually there's this organizing party, and sometimes the absence of the organizing party makes it like stop continuing like operating or flow inside the community. If the organizing party is like absent, for example. So I really want to ask like what's the reactions of the community, and how is it like continuing carried on over the years in your example. So just want to hear your observations. So that's the first question. The second question is that I think I'm curious of stories. So I really want to hear if is there any like transformative stories that you really like remember on your own journey of doing this thing? It can be like a sparkling moment or something like that. Yeah. So those are my two questions. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Yuki. Who want to start first? Video or Yuki-san? Who want to start the answering first?
Yeah, okay. So the first question is like how we continue like the concept of our community, right? Am I correct?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Not only about the organizing, but it's also the community themselves. Do they carry on the concept and continue to flow?
Yes.
Even with like the organizing.
Yeah, I typed the two questions in the chat box again. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. The first question, yeah, I think I'm not sure I can answer properly, but I think in Shibuya University Network, I think the unique aspect of our concept is like our concept, which is like making a free, making an open learning community for everyone is for us. I mean, like we don't have any particular we don't have any like a specific target, and like we all are the students and we all can be teachers. So like we think like we don't think, you know, we are very new type of lifelong learning organization in Japan, and we want to change the lifelong learning system of Japan. We don't have that kind of like ambition, but we just keep doing it in a small level to make us happy and make our daily life more comfortable. And so like this kind of way of concept is the key point of keep doing for like 20 years. So like we don't think like we have to spread our concept, but like everyone who are in our community take it, this is my program, this is my thing, and this is my dream, and you know, something like that. So that's why lots of volunteers and also participants keep coming to Shibuya University. Yeah. And so for the second question is it also for me?
Yeah,
Right. Okay.
for both you and VD.
Yeah, okay. It's a difficult question. I think there are lots of things happening in daily level, but as I mentioned, I feel especially my age is in like a big cities like in Tokyo. Like we are like struggling of like how to slow down our daily life, and people are struggling to balance the like work-life balance. And some volunteers say to me like going to like doing volunteers in Shibuya University is kind of a routine, became a routine of daily life. Like once or twice a month, they come to Shibuya University, and they say once they come to Shibuya University, they can remember what they really want to do. And yeah, so like it's very it's not how to say inspiring story, but it's very, I was very happy to hear that. And also some participants saying similar things, like some people participates our class for like more than 100 times or 200 times, and they kept coming. But like they one guy told me it's the like if there weren't were not Shibuya University, like he didn't choose his current job, and he didn't choose the place of how to say, yeah, it's like the experience of Shibuya University make his career, and every time he struggling to which way to go, Shibuya, the things he learned or experienced at Shibuya University make gave him a hint of his choice. And that's kind of daily level daily sides story is very important for me. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So good story. Thank you, Yuki-san. Now let's invite Vidi to share about your.
Yes. So I'm so happy to hear that, when you start hearing that young people feeling their life is getting transformed from a certain experience, I think that's where we all feel good. And I think for me, what's been one of the main ways in which I see that the community is receiving Udaipur as a learning city as a process is that it's basically, I would say, a very open conversation that we have around our lifestyle. And I feel that in cities, lifestyle is a big question. We can't say that, okay, we live in the city, but we keep doing and living the way we are. So a lot of times I've seen that we have been approached by people who want to do something different in their lives. and they feel that even in a small effort can help them. So we constantly get approached by people who want to start farming in their own community, people who want to start working on the whole concept of slow food in the city rather than just, fast food. People who really want to talk about different ways of healing in the city. And I feel that that's a very big thing for me, because when people in the city realize that there is a lot of exciting things going on, then they start approaching you for that. And one thing that's really positive for me in the whole concept of Udaipur as a learning city, and which has really been transformative for me, is that I have seen a lot of young people who have been a part of Udaipur as a learning city and who really consciously decided that they did not want to move out of the city, but they wanted to stay in the city and create some beautiful future for other youth. So we have a lot of very amazing living examples of that, where people have actually created amazing cafes or organic stores, and which are being received by people. I mean, they're now so popular that they are being, people want to have more and more of those. So there is something that they changed in their life to be able to create learning spaces for other people. So I think that's been very transformative for us when we hear that people have consciously decided that they see a beautiful future in the city of Udaipur and they don't have to go very far for making a great life of themselves. And I think some of the most transformative experiences for us have been how we have been able to use the public spaces of the city. So as I said, we have many lakes, we have many beautiful, places like of worship. So a lot of times when we do events there, like we do gift festivals or we do fairs there or food festivals, we've always been approached by people to do more of those. And every time we do an event, we get at least 5 or 10 more people who say, we would like to help you host another one of these. So when people start feeling that they have a role to play and they invite us more, I think that's a very transformative experience for me. And we've been very, very fortunate that the people of Udaipur have been very welcoming to different experiments and different kinds of things. And for me, the most transformative moments are when we've had so many workshops, so many different festivals where 3 or 4 generations of people have done things together. Could be like creating a little mud house, or creating something out of waste, or cooking together. So this is, for me, a very transformative learning experience where people of 2-3 generations come together for a day and do something exciting. I didn't share this experiment, but this is a few years ago, which was a very big transformative experience. I don't know, I'm now, the age of TV is gone, but I would say about 10 years ago, TV was very big. And I remember we decided with a few young people that we would create something called a TV turn-off week. We would tell everyone to unplug their televisions for a week. So many people participated in this experiment. And what was beautiful was that the TVs were turned off, but what came out of that was amazing. People were going for treks together. People who didn't even know each other came together and organized beautiful treks to the mountains together. People organized, something called Eid Grub parties, where they would cook together, and people of all generations participated in those. So it was really an amazing transformative experience to see that kids, when given creative options and when they saw that their families and parents were involved with something, they also decided that they would like to be a part of it. And we often get called that why can't we do more experiments like these in the city, where we can say, okay, let's try to live without phone for a day, or let's try to live without money for a day and see how we can be. And we do this cycling experiment where we try, it's a very big unlearning experiment where people go out without money and try to work with people. So a lot of these are transformative stories of Udaipur as a learning city. And we keep getting invited and we keep getting told that let's do more of those. So I feel that's how it's beautiful to see that communities are receiving that very positively. So that's all I want to share.
Wow, yeah. Thank you for both of your story. Yeah, we all see that learning city have a lot of impact on the people, for organizer as well, learner, and even the host. So yeah, thank you for your inspiring story. So let's move on to the next question. Is there any other question or even comments or even sharing from our learning city movement in Vietnam? Mọi người có câu hỏi nào thì mọi người có thể đặt, hoặc là mọi người có chia sẻ gì trong cái hành trình làm học tập của mình. Mọi người thấy, mình có hai bàn tay luôn. Mời chị Hương trước đi, thấy chị Hương bật. Chị Hương đi trước. Ok, lấy một vài Hương thôi.
Thank you so much for sharing. Can you get me?
Nó hơi giật á, chị đưa lại gần cái.
Okay, I got this.
Yeah.
So to be honest, that's for the activity learning city in Hanoi. We just like in the beginning of the process. So we are trying to do like the activity, and time by time we more understanding what we want and what kind of the activity are processing. So I would like to ask you that I think that in the beginning process, every place or everyone will like face a lot of difficulty. And can you share with us some tips that you think like can support for the team at the beginning process? For our team, I think that we have we often talk about two kind of differences. The first one is that how we can like do the good promote do the good like sharing information, so we can like involve a lot of people to come to our event, because to be honest that when the host they prepare time to conduct activity, we also expect that someone will come with the host, so they have someone to share with them, and the preparation of the host cannot be like wasting. So the first is that how we can like involve a lot of people know about the activity. And the second question is that to be honest, I also want to open this kind of activity to the other people also. And at the beginning, we like send some invitation letter to someone who think that they kind of have the good thing to share to the group. But I think that maybe that this kind of activity may be still quite new thing, and we not yet like get the good result to involve some other people from outside the groups. So this is the two different thing, and the thing that we want to improve in the future. So I would like to can you share some tips from your side that how we can like go through the difficult thing at the beginning of the process? Yeah, this is my question. Thank you.
Yeah, okay. So let's go to this question first, and then another person will raising a hand. Sống, I will invite you later. Yeah, so basically her question is like, can you share some tips on how to overcome some of the challenge in the beginning? Yeah. So let's start with Vidi. Yeah.
So I think, as I said, that this whole concept of at least Udaipur as a learning city started with a very personal journey. It wasn't something that we had thought out that this is what Udaipur as a learning city will look like in the next 5 years, or in the next 4 years, or in the next 2 years. It was something that came from the questions of our own life. We had decided that we wanted to live a certain lifestyle. We also wanted to experiment in certain ways. We also wanted to invite people into our own learning process. So it was never always like thought out so much, but what we initially did, and as I think Wu has also mentioned, we really decided to open ourselves up to people more, and we really started going out and meeting different people. It wasn't always the best meetings. We always had very bad experiences also. People were also very negative in the beginning, and people also thought that we were dreamers and we were just, making our own dreams out of, something that will never be it. So people also discouraged us a lot, and but also a lot of positivity was received from people. And we realized that for anything to build, you need to be very patient, and there has to be space for a lot of mistakes also. So I feel that initially we were very, we went out and we were going to do this, and we're going to change the city, and we're going to make sure that everyone has learning space. But then we realized that going slow and going, like you said, we cannot make everything change. We need to start with very small experiments. So I think our biggest way to start things was to go into different communities and start with one community at a certain time, rather than saying, okay, we'll target the whole city. So we started going to maybe one neighborhood and started doing festivals there, where we did food festival, or we did farming festival, or we did something which is much more hands-on. We didn't want to make it very, policy oriented, that we'll come and change the waterworks of your place or anything. We said we will start with very small things. And I think that's where we started getting approached by a lot of people, because I realized that most people who are living in cities somehow also feel very suffocated, don't feel that they have deep connections. Like you were sharing, the young people are very lost in the cities. So how can we start approaching them and inviting them into the process? And we said, rather than having many conversations and discussions, let's do hands-on things together with them. So we started doing filmmaking workshops with the young people. We started doing, I remember we said we'll start doing some, art together. So a lot of our work started with art, where we would just open up a big sheet of paper and invite everyone to come and do art together with us. And it would become such a beautiful art piece. And we said that everyone can do what their imagination is. So we have all these big charts of paper which were created with people together. And these memories actually started then we started inviting people to come in, maybe start a cafe with us on Saturdays, or do something else around food with us. And that's how the conversation started. But it was very interest-based. It was very focused on what the people really feel is missing in their own society that they would like to build upon. And I think one way of attracting hosts or teachers was to invite them into our process. See, when we go to people and say that, okay, these are our problems and these are our challenges, and we would want you to come and solve our problems, you will always get a free advice. But when you start going with this whole concept of abundance, that, Udaipur is such a beautiful city and we feel that you are a great artist, but how can you as an artist think of something new in the city? So it was basically mostly invitations. And I would say that if we went and met maybe 50 people, at least 10 people were very positive and came in. 15 or maybe 30 people didn't come, but that's fine. So a lot of patience, a lot of making mistakes, a lot of these things also really helped in this whole process. And I know for sure that people who we went and approached 10 years ago maybe didn't take us seriously, but now they come to us. So it's also giving people time to think about what's exciting for them, how they want to participate, rather than forcing something onto them. See, I think that's where the school model is a problem for me, because we try to teach everyone everything and we force it onto people. And that's not how we work. We want to learn things when we are ready for it, or when we really enjoy doing it. So Udaipur as a learning city has been that kind of a project where we invite people when they are ready to be a part of it, rather than saying that it's going to be, we have to do this. And it's not a time bound thing at all. Like I think some friends said, we don't have deadlines here. We don't, we know the world is, we are clicking, the clock is ticking, but it's not the end. There is always going to be a lot of time to do things. So it's really opening up these questions about what is important for us, what is exciting for us, and then inviting people in. So I think that's been amazing, and just approaching and inviting people. I mean, I remember initially when Udaipur as a learning city had started, I had started with my own house. I said, let's invite artists and they'll paint my house. And it could be a crazy experiment. Your house could look like you don't know what, but at least let's invite people rather than saying, okay, we're going to come and show you how to do this and how to do that. So this was my biggest, I think I had to unlearn that. It was a lot of unlearning that took place to be able to start it. It wasn't easy, but it was very fun, I think.
Yeah, thank you, VD. Yeah, like start small, doing something hands-on, be patient. Yeah, that's very valuable. And now, how about Yuki-san? What is your opinions?
Yeah. About the tips, I think actually the founder of Sakyo-san can explain more because he faced a lot of challenges, I think. But yeah, in our case, I think it was very important that our idea of the concept of Shibuya University matched the needs of Shibuya city as well. Actually, the concept of Shibuya University was born from the candidate of Shibuya city. So, like they are the problem that the city has been struggling, and what we wanted to do is very closely matched. So that's why we still collaborating with local government, and so I think it's important to think like how your project can help solve local challenges, and also yeah, I mentioned earlier maybe the starting small level, small scale is also the tips to keep doing it for years and years. And yeah, so yeah, if you're doing starting it with a small level, I think gradually people like a volunteer who felt like a compassion for us, our project, can be like our team. So it's getting bigger and bigger later. So maybe it's better to make it small and thinking about local problem as well. And yeah, this is what I think. And also as for the how to attract teachers, I was thinking like Shibuya University's teachers are not, how to say, they don't belong to our university. So our like class coordinators reach out to people who want to invite every time, and sometimes we write a very passionate love love letter to, your favorite author or your favorite, I don't know, movie director or famous people. And then most of people are very glad to accept. And also, at the same time, we also invite for example, the owner of a cafe in Shibuya, or like 80 years old grandmother who've never did a speech in front of people, and as we said, like they don't know they have skills or knowledge that they can share. So, but I think that for the both sides, like teachers, a lot of people accept our invitation because they feel like they believe in the idea of like creating free learning spaces for, especially for adults. Yeah, especially in Tokyo, everything's expensive. So if you want to learn something, you have to pay a lot. But we do it for free. So a lot of people think, oh, that's great. So it's, even if the fee, the teacher's fee is not high, and they accept us. And so what I wanted to say is, we always think about the value of teachers' side as well, like what they want to try new or what they want to do for like adults or like people who live in Shibuya or who visit in Shibuya. And so like we always balance what participants want to learn and also what teachers can enjoy. And then, yeah, that's the point of like attracting teachers, diverse teachers. Yes.
Great. Thank you, Yuki-san. Yeah, writing a personal love letter. Nobody can reject it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had another question from Nguyen Song. Can you open your mic?
Okay. So firstly, I want to thank all of you for your like very inspirational sharings and experiences. So I will have a question for Vidi. I listened to your speech about a very interesting point of the intergenerational learning that maybe our grandparents can share their wisdom to our children. But you know what? Like in my experiences, my family have a lot of maybe conflicts when we talk about intergenerational conversations. So they have conflicts. They have different mindsets. They have maybe like put in one topic and they have a lot of conflicts in their opinions. So how do you design or how do you facilitate those conversations and those activities so that they can bring the most effectiveness or the activity? Yeah, thank you.
So I think what I have come to understand is that intergenerational learning is it sounds very easy, as you said, but it sometimes is challenging. And I personally believe that it has to be done in such a way that everyone who participates in that feels that they are valued, So my understanding today is that, and it may be different in your country, but in our country, I can say for sure that the younger generation, or or the Gen Z, or even, the generation above us, have experienced different life. We are experiencing very different kinds of education, very different kinds of growing up, technology. All these things are very integral in our part of our life. And our grandparents have grown up with different kinds of experiences. So we always have differences. But one thing that I have also experienced is that education and schools have done a lot of harm to that. I very passionately can speak hours about that, but I feel that schooling has consciously killed our interaction with different generations. We have become very happy to be with our own age group all the time. And schooling and college creates a certain kind of arrogance also in us. We think we know everything. We have learned and we have a degree and so, and we are a professional and so, so we know everything. And those guys have not gone to so much school and they don't know so much because they have not qualified. So they have a different way of thinking. What I feel that for intergenerational learning, what's really important is the humility. The relationship has to be rebuilt. And that relationship has to be that of trust. I mean, young people don't trust old people anymore. We've been told that if you need to learn something, you have to go to school or college or a professional institution to learn. But we consider their knowledge backward, or their knowledge sometimes not relevant to our times, which is true to some extent. So I always feel that the older people somehow feel left out, or also feel that their knowledge is not valued. So I feel that you can go into lots of arguments with older people. I mean, conflicts happen when you start talking too much. But me, personally, my way of dealing with those conflicts is that talk less and do things together more. It's a very different relationship that gets built when you're using your hands rather than just using your brain, right? So if you want to really do intergenerational learning, you need to have the humility that we can learn from anyone and anyone can learn from us. And that can happen mostly if you are doing beautiful projects together. Like, how did we break this barrier between generations? We're trying, it's challenging, but they also have to feel that they're included in the learning process, that their knowledge is important in our growing up. And for example, no matter how much I talk about zero waste living, no matter how much I say that we shouldn't throw anything away or we shouldn't waste anything, that's all textbooks. That's all what we've learned through books. But if you go and spend time with a grandmother, you'll see what zero waste living is. They don't waste anything because their teaching, their knowledge was never like that. You go to any village, the concept of waste is very different. So we have to be open to unlearn a lot of our things to be able to invite them into that process. My husband went to Harvard, right, Manish, and he wrote that I learned much more from my grandmother who never went to school than I did from a Harvard professor, because she used to live with nature. She knows how to problem solve a lot of things, which we never appreciated. So all I'm saying is that intergenerational learning can be made beautiful if we start inviting people with humility and without the arrogance. And similarly with them, they think, oh, these kids have no experience. What do they know? They think that these guys have just, come out of nowhere. So it takes a little while, but I feel that the best way to do it is say, okay, let's do gardening together. Let's see what we can do together in gardening, or let's make something with our hands together. Let's make a doll together. And those barriers, those conversations become much easier, I feel. And that's what we've tried to do, rather than, getting into conflicts of, what's a good life. Try to do things with them. And bring them back. They also have a lot of value and a lot of knowledge to share with us. So you're understanding what I'm saying, that it has to be done in a way that doesn't hurt each other, but invites the other person into the process. And conflicts will always remain. I think that's not something that's going to change. We have to also learn to live with those. Disagreements will always be there. I think we all have a lot of problems with the way our parents are or our grandparents are. But we also have to realize that at the humanity level, we are all looking for happiness. We're not looking for. So their way of looking at it may be different, and we have to accept it. There are certain things we also have to learn to unlearn. That's all I'm saying. So for this, Udaipur as a learning city process, for me, the biggest process has been unlearning. Unlearning the way I was taught about something, and inviting them to also unlearn with us. Unlearning, they also have to do unlearning, but that happens when you're doing things together rather than just talking and arguing all the time. That's all I'm saying.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's very great.
Right. Thank you, Vidi. Yeah, doing things together is one of the way we can connect people. 2 hours is approaching. So in Japan, it's getting late right now. So let's get like one more comments or sharing from our audience in the process of doing Learning City, and after that we're gonna wrap up the event and close the circle. So is there anyone have any sharings, comments, talks after the after today's session? You can share your experience doing Learning City, how it resonates with you. Yeah, I saw Wanan have a heart, so show a heart, or 2 heart. So
Yes. I can share the comments. Hi everyone. My name is Quỳnh Anh, and I'm one of the members of VCU who do the Learning City in Ho Chi Minh City. So I feel like it's such an amazing experience to hear from your sharing, because it also gives us a lot of inspiration. I feel like Learning City, but it feels more like a learning village, because in this community, everyone is like connected together and there's like a spirit together. And like chị Hương also shared, I live in Ho Chi Minh City, which is one of the largest city in Vietnam, like Hanoi. So our challenge is that we are so diverse and so big. So how can we connect a community that shares something similar together, and they find that there's a village and also like a broader sister spirit in that. So I know that is our journey, because we will have our own learning. We get inspiration from you, but we also have to try ourselves. So thank you for your sharing from Japan, right, and from India. And we hope that someday you can visit Ho Chi Minh City for the Learning City experiences, and Hanoi and Da Nang as well. Thank you.
And I would like to invite everyone to Udaipur for
Yeah.
whatever work we're doing, because I feel that you can also come and share what you're doing with our friends. I think a lot of times we feel that we're learning all the time, but meeting new people is the best way. So meeting
Yes.
and hearing. So we'd like to invite you.
Thank you.
yeah, thank you. Yeah, Udaipur was very beautiful. Yeah, I still remember my time there. Yeah. So yeah, do Vidi or Yukiko-san or Yuki-san or Yakio-san, do you have any last sharing or comments before we end today's session?
How about you, Yukiko-san?
Okay, may I? Yeah. I was really fascinated by the Udaipur Learning City, and I already checked the website, and so many video, and you have a lot of different types of learning programs. But I noticed that you often really you often mentioned unlearning, and then on the website I noticed that there are so many unschoolers. The concept of unschooling and seeking for alternative ways of learning was quite impressive. But on the contrary, as the Shibuya University, the naming of university, they don't criticize so much about the current schooling system or university system as well. Not like in India. I thought it is a big difference. But actually, we also have a problem in our schooling system. And our compulsory schooling is for 6 to 15 years old, but we have 350,000 unschoolers in Japan. So we have to do something, and maybe it would be our new solution if the Shibuya University could do something similar to Udaipur Learning City. Thank you very much. It was a very nice opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you from me as well. Thank you for giving me such an good opportunity, and I'm always enjoying meeting new people, especially from overseas, and it gives me lots of we have some similarities and also some differences, and it makes me it inspired me a lot. So I hope we can meet in Vietnam or India or in Japan in near future. Yes. Thank you for inviting us today.
Sakio-san want to say something? I saw him open the link.
Yeah. Again, thanks a lot tonight. It is like my dream is come true, because I want to learn something with you. Exchange local people overseas. That is our concept. It is no needs school to learn. Yeah. So please keep in touch with us and to keep learning with each other. Thank you so much tonight.
Thank you. Arigato, Sakio-san.
Arigato.
Yeah. Chị Hương want to share something?
I just question like to be honest, that in the beginning of the setup, the learning city in Hanoi, my energy up and down a lot. But every time I meet you guys, it always give me more energy to push me and to make me want to do it more and more. So thank you so much for your energy. Thank you.
All right, okay. Yeah. So thank you, Vidi, Yukio-san, Yuki-san, Sakio-san for tonight's session. We've been really inspired by your works, by your example. So I want to tell you, our learning Steve movement is very young, and like you guys doing this for 20 years, 25 years. So it's a huge you know, journey ahead. So very happy to see like people who do the same thing, but like who go long journey. So it give a lot more energy and you know, direction in the future. Yeah. So thank you, Vidi, for your stories regarding gift culture and especially the how you start learning city, Udaipur learning city with Manish and your daughter. Thank you, Yuki-san and Seko-san and Yukiko-san for the story of Shibuya University. So for a lot of people, like Shibuya is just a commercial space. But now we know like Shibuya is itself is also a university, a city that's a city of lifelong learning. So thank you for all of you for your inspiring and very useful and meaningful sharings. So I hope to see you in Vietnam. So yeah, when you come, very, very happy to show you our learning festival. We call it festival because we want to make it fun. And you know, Vietnam is like in the middle. So like 4 hours from Vietnam to India and 4 hours from Vietnam to Japan. So Vietnam is a great place to meet. So in the middle. So yeah, I hope to see you guys in Vietnam again. When I really visit us a few years ago, but it was before we have Learning City. So I hope to see you again to see a Learning City and also Shibuya University. If you guys come, we'll be very happy to host and show you around. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. Thank you. I know that in Japan it's very late right now. It's 11 p.m. So and it's Saturday. So thank you very much for spending time with us. Yes. Yeah, that's it. Yes, let's take a photo. No. Let everyone open their camera and take a photo to end today sessions. Mọi người bật cam lên ha để mình chụp một tấm ảnh chung với nhau ha. Huy chụp giùm tấm ảnh nha Huy. Rồi mà mọi người bật cam lên để mình chụp một tấm ảnh thiệt đẹp với nhau để thấy thành phố học tập ở Ấn Độ, ở Nhật Bản và ở Việt Nam. Ok. Ở
Mọi người bật cam anh nha.
Chiêu Kỳ bật cam. Lotto, can you open your camera? Open your camera so that we can take a photo right now. Huy đếm nha, Huy chụp hả?
Yeah. 3,
Okay,
2,
Huy
3, 2, 1. Okay, one more. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you everyone.
All right, thank you. Arigato gozaimasu. Namaste.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good
Thank
night.
you. Good night.
Thank you. Good night. Bye
Thank you so
bye.
much.
Bye bye. Thank you.